YouTube, what is going down, man? I am back at y'all boys again with another video, man. And look, today we learned a lot of things about NBA 2K. First and foremost, this video is going to be about the Facebook blog that Mike Wang and 2K decided to drop today. But Mike Wang has also been talking on Twitter, so he has been dropping gems all day as well as some of the other devs. So this is going to be 25 things that we learned about NBA 2K today. Now, as y'all can see the time, this is going to be a longer video, so that's enough for the intro, man. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Let's start with number one. The number one thing that we learned from the vlog is that we will have a newer, more up-to-date, more realistic motion engine added into the game. 2K said that they took their time and they tried to make sure that the motion engine was everywhere that it needed to be, because for them, the motion in the game is a crucial part of the game. Without the motion, you got nothing else, right? So they said with the new, more updated motion engine, you'll be able to see better foot planning in the game, and you will also feel way more of a difference of when you're running around the court, maneuvering and using with a bigger, slower center versus if you were doing the exact same thing with a quick, fast guard, let's say for an example, a De'Aaron Fox. Number two, thanks to the new redesigned motion engine, sprinting in the game has actually been redesigned. Now, in the article, 2K says they no longer want to see people recklessly using all of their sprint. They want people to start to see their sprinting as a valuable resource in the game. So now, let's say for an example, in 2K20, you decide to go into the rec and you decide to play Pro-Am. Once you're playing Pro-Am, and if you are continuing to sprint around the court the entire time, you're going to notice at a certain time or at a certain point in the game, your energy bar is going to start flashing yellow. That means that you have reached a certain amount, and that means you have exhausted a certain amount of your energy. Then, once it starts to flash yellow, your player will start to get tired faster, and you will also now start running slower. This is because they want to, again, stop having people recklessly using all of their sprinting, and now they want people to start to pick and choose which spots they should or should not exhaust their sprinting if they want to be useful later on in the game, because of course you don't want to play the game when you cannot sprint in the fourth quarter. You're basically useless to your team, especially on fast break. Now let's go ahead and go to number three, man, and we're going to talk about one of the biggest and most outspoken communities in 2K. It's time to talk about the dribble community and what 2K has brought for you guys in NBA 2K20. So for number three, first and foremost, when it comes to dribbling, they said that they added 27 different dribbling styles in the game that is going to allow you to be able to create the type of ball handler that you want to be. So the names of the styles that they added into the game, again, it's 27 names, so I'm gonna run through them, so bear with me. You have base, big, power, fundamental, quick, slasher, shifty, James Harden, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Jerry West, Dennis Johnson, John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Tim Hardaway, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Isaiah Thomas, Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Stephen Curry, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. And also with this one, I'm gonna kind of squeeze these in as well. They also talked about some of the new dribble moves and animation that they added into the game. So some of the new dribble animations that they now added to the game, they have Luka's fake step back. They added new Sham God animation. They even added a fake Sham God hezzy that one of the players that Will Bynum did in the Big Three. They also added new stop variations, and certain players will have certain sprint animations when they're sprinting down the court. Two players that they listed in the article is going to be Giannis and Russell Westbrook. Speaking of new things that they added into the game, we're going to go to number four, and man, for the number four spot, left stick dribbling will be a thing in NBA 2K. Now, from the best of my knowledge, in 2K19, the only thing that you can really do with your left stick is just sway left to right, move your character around the court and things like that when you have the ball. But this year, you will also use the left stick to be a part of your dribbling and to possibly use that for combinations and things like that. Now, that's kind of weird for me. I honestly want to see how they incorporate this thing. Like how do I trigger this? Do I hold down R2 and now the left stick also becomes a part of my dribble combinations? We don't know that just yet. And for number five, this was the last thing that they talk about and address with dribbling, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the most major one because this is a massive change. This year, for number five, there will no longer be any pre-scripted sequences in the game. So if you don't know what that means, if you get on 2K right now, if you flick your analog up, your player starts to do pre-scripted movements in the game depending on the player. Well, in NBA 2K20, all of that is gone. All of the moves will now be performed one-to-one with the right stick in the game. So if you want to have combinations, you can no longer depend on some of those animations to play out for a certain amount of time, and then you go into your next chain move, and then you try to change that with another move. No, in this game in 2K20, all of that is completely gone, and it is completely dependent on your thumb on that right stick or whatever finger you play on the right stick. Maybe one of them dudes that use your index finger. So I don't know what you be doing. You know what I'm saying? But This year, all of that pre-scripted sequences is now completely gone. Also, when you're trying to do these dribble moves, it's also going to depend on your timing. If you try to change the move at the wrong time when your player's not ready, you'll start to see your players fumbling the ball more and they will easily get ripped by defenders. Speaking of getting ripped, that leads us into our next one on the list. Let's talk about defense, man, because we know lockdowns were a major position this year. We've seen more and more lockdowns than we've ever seen in 2K. So this year, for the number 6 thing on our list, man, 2K decided to read and react defense in the game. Now, once you read the article, basically what this is the ball handler is going to have an arrow under his feet, and you're basically going to try to anticipate which way that he goes. If you guess the correct way, you will be rewarded more. So you will get more stonewall animations, and you will get more force ball pickup animations and things like that. Now, honestly, this is a controversial one again, because if you are in the basketball community, what game sounds like they've already been at this? That sounds like something that I've been using for the past 2 years in NBA Live, but we're not gonna talk about that in this video. Subscribe to the channel, man. We are definitely gonna have a dialogue about that one, man. But that leads us to the number 7 thing on this list, man. Steals in the game are now going to be more predictable. Now, we know that all the years before 2K20, steals in the game are basically random. Like, you don't really know exactly when you were going to get those things. But now this year, under the ball handler's feet, there's going to be a solid circle, right? And once he starts to move around the court, and once he starts to hit certain dribble moves, matter of fact, not even certain dribble moves, once he starts to hit dribble moves, period, you start to see that circle going from a solid circle into broken up lines. Now, once the circle is broken up, the ball is more vulnerable and susceptible to being stolen. So now 2K is actually doing something to combat spammers. So if you spam it at the wrong time, now you know why you didn't get that steal, but it also adds a skill to stealing. So now if you want to steal the ball, you have to honestly react to what the offense is doing, and then boom, you getting steals all the time if you know exactly when to press that steal button at that right time. Ball handlers, be careful this year. Let's go to the number 8 thing on the list. Now, for number 8, man, we're done with the dribbling, we're done with the defense. Let's talk about these slashers for a minute, man. Now, in NBA 2K20, they said that they added a new advanced gather system into the game that will allow slashers to be able to read how the defense are reacting to them while they are gathering and picking the way that they want to finish. So I'll read how they described it. They said the new gather system allows you to kick off an advanced gather on the floor, read the defense, and select how you want to finish that gather by redirecting the pro stick as you take off. Say, for example, if you started a Euro gather but saw the defense close in, you could redirect the pro stick down to branch into a floater to avoid contact. And that leads us to number 9, man. So look, they just said that they added a new gather system into the game. Now let's talk about the repercussions of that, because now they said they added gather resolutions. So if you pick the wrong way to gather, you could either end up with a forced ball jam up, or you could also end up knifing through defense. It's a risk reward, picking the right way, picking the wrong thing to do, you know what I'm saying? And then that also leads us to number 10, and this will be the last thing that we talk about with slashes. They say that they added more slashing moves when diving to the rim, and 2 examples that they used were half spins and cross spins to gather and get past your defender. Now, let's talk about how people are going to defend these slashes, because they did it for ball handlers. Now let's do it for slashes. They said with number 11, rim protectors will now have a more stronger presence around the rim. They said that they added over 100 new animations, which include in-air collision, hard fouls, grab blocks, and swats. Now for number 12, man, they talk about post scores a little bit, but not too much. They honestly didn't give you guys too much love in this blog. Like, you guys only really got 2 sentences. But for post scores, they said that they added new back down animations and new fakes. So let's go ahead and go to number 13, man. For number 13, this is a big one, because off-ball jukes are now back into the game, and you can also change these things now to possibly try to cut back door, or to change these off-ball jukes and possibly get free for spot ups. Now, for number 14, off-ball jukes are now broken down into 3 levels. Think of it the way that they do animations for dribbling moves, animations for dunks and things like that. So now they have 3 levels. They didn't tell us how we are going to separate these levels or how they're going to separate these levels, but we do know that they have 3 levels so they can try to distinguish elite off-ball dribblers from the rest. We know some elite off-ball guys are guys like Curry and Klay Thompson, for an example. Now, For number 15, this is also about off-ball jukes, but it's about how we're going to defend these things. So for number 15, they talk about they added off-ball collisions so you can help cut off dudes that are trying to do off-ball jukes and make them struggle and work harder to try to get those shots. Now for number 16, they talk about how they actually rebuilt the screens in the game, and thank the Lord, hopefully 2K, you're not just talking about, because screens in 19 are bad. But so for number 16, they said screens have been rebuilt so it can try to help people get less stuck on screens and to try to breast past those screens a little easier. And for number 17, they said that they added manual switch controls in the game, but in the article they only talked about AI. I'm wondering, can we use this on Park? Please tell me there's a button for me to manually switch defenders, and my who to guard is going to make me guard the person that I switch the button to. I hope that that is added into the game. Let's go ahead and go to number 18. They said that the AI in 2K20 will now be improved, and now they said the AI would now try to create more freedom for itself and try to create more space so they can possibly try to get themselves open and not depending on the user to call plays for your AI to move around. So basically less standing around with the AI. Speaking of AI, we're going to go to number 19. Number 19, the AIs in the game are now going to use shot timing as opposed to them using real player percentage the way that they use in the end. They said this gives the game a more of a realistic feel. Now I want to see how this is, because we know, bruh, on Hall of Fame, I can guarantee you the AI is going to consistently green shots in your face. Speaking of green, that brings us to number 20. Number 20, they have new customizable green animations that everyone can see. So if you get a green, you can no longer lie on your green animations in the game. You can no longer lie. The truth is out. We see when you get a green and we see when you lying. Number 21, badges, according to them, have been revamped, and now they have 80 badges in the game. Number 22, some badges in the game have been broken down into multiple badges. For an example, the Glass Cleaner Hustle Rebounder, from what I have seen in the article and from what Mike Wang is saying on Twitter, that badge has been broken down into 3 badges. And speaking of badges, let's go ahead and go to number 23. Park badges are making its way back into the game after they have been absent ever since NBA 2K17. Park badges were short-lived. I kind of like them. Honestly, it gave people more of a reason to play on the park. So now, if you want to get those park badges, you can't get them obviously anywhere else because they are park badges. Speaking of park, we're going to go ahead and go to number 24, man. Number 24, in the article, they talked about it. They addressed it a little bit, didn't touch it too much, but the neighborhood is officially confirmed back in NBA 2K20. And look, if that's a W, that's a W. If that's an L, that's an L. I think that's a massive L. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't like the neighborhood that much. Hopefully it is improved. And then for number 25, the number 25 thing that we learned from this article is that the takeover is officially back. It is officially confirmed. This is something that we already know. I even did videos on this thing as well, but it is officially confirmed, and they claim that it is more balanced. Even on Twitter, Mike Wang claimed that some of the more OP takeover animations are now removed from the game. Hey, post scores, we looking at you. We looking at you, post scores. Those animations hopefully are taken out of the game. Who knows, maybe they may have toned down the slashers blow-bys with Takeover as well. So what do they mean by more balance? Who knows? Look, my definition of balance and 2K definition of balance is obviously 2 different things. But this is a longer video, man. But I wanted to make sure that I let y'all boys know everything that I seen in this article, man. There are a few things that I did leave out, like for an example, post-score defense. They said they added new body-up animations so you can try to defend against those spins, those drives, those drop steps, and hop steps even better. But that's all I got for y'all boys, man. Look, my name is Trey. 50K Trey is on the way, man. We are so close to 50K. Make sure that y'all like, subscribe, hit those notifications so you can join the gang. Possibly another video coming out for y'all boys today. I'm gonna make sure that I grind. But we out.